The galaxy had long whispered about Earth, a planet that was supposed to be insignificant, a backwater world too weak to matter. Civilizations measured power in fleets, in energy outputs, in weapons designed to annihilate entire moons. And yet, Earth endured. It grew quietly, its inhabitants refining technology, exploring the stars, testing limits against the impossible, while empires assumed they were safe, invisible, and irrelevant. The first warning came subtly, a faint ripple in the communications of border systems, a subtle anomaly in the gravitational measurements near the outer planets. Ships vanished. Sensors overheated. Pilots reported faint shadows of immense objects, moving with impossible speed, disappearing before identification. The messages were dismissed as malfunction, natural phenomena, or the paranoia of a weak species. No one thought to consider Earth's borders were being defended, not by fear, but by design. Then the aliens arrived in force. The fleet was massive, the largest the sector had ever seen. Battleships gleamed with alien metallurgy, bristling with weapons whose very energy signatures could sterilize worlds. Drones swarmed, scouts probed, and command vessels transmitted coordinates for an invasion, confident that their intelligence on humanity was complete. They had ignored the warnings. They assumed they knew the strength of a species they had never truly measured. Earth's orbit was quiet. Military satellites tracked unknown ships, civilian stations transmitted data in panic, and yet no planet-wide alarm sounded. There was no need. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, refining ships that could survive impossible conditions, AI systems that could calculate outcomes before a battle began, and strategies that would turn their enemies' confidence into chaos. Every measure was tested, every contingency rehearsed, every crew trained beyond the edge of endurance. When the alien fleet crossed the outer borders, sensors flickered and alarms surged across the Earth Defense Command. Humans did not rush blindly into battle. They moved like predators. Calculated and precise, using the solar system itself as a weapon. Mining stations, asteroid belts, and orbital arrays were more than just infrastructure, they were traps, weapons, and camouflage. Gravity wells, energy signatures, and electromagnetic pulses were all synchronized to create an environment no alien force had ever encountered. The first engagement was invisible. Alien scouts entered the outer belt expecting an easy survey, and one by one, they vanished. Not with explosions, not with noise, but with silence. Communication arrays went dead, propulsion systems failed mid-warp, and the fleet itself began to detect something unnatural, something that moved and thought in ways their algorithms could not predict. Earth had become a gauntlet, a test the aliens had not anticipated, and their arrogance had blinded them to it. From Earth, operators watched as blips on screens disappeared without explanation, as fleets became ghosts before they could respond. Humanity did not gloat. Humanity did not seek revenge. They acted with purpose, with restraint, with knowledge that the galaxy underestimated them at its peril. Every vanishing ship was a message, every disruption a lesson. To cross Earth's borders without warning was to court annihilation. And somewhere deep in the command center, a single captain whispered to no one in particular, they thought they were coming to conquer. They are about to learn what it means to ignore the boundaries of Earth. The alien commanders convened across encrypted channels, confident that Earth's defenses were exaggerated tales, myths designed to frighten the timid. They moved their fleet deeper into the solar system, deploying heavy cruisers, assault drones, and massive command vessels, certain that a show of force would break a species they believed primitive. They ignored the anomalies, dismissed the vanishings, and assumed that any disruption could be countered with firepower and superior numbers, but humanity had not prepared for legend. Earth's borders were not lines on a map, they were traps, algorithms, and intelligence networks, all intertwined in ways the aliens could not detect until it was too late. As the fleet crossed the asteroid belt, mining stations activated their hidden roles, massive automated drills hurled rock and metal in precise arcs, gravitational projectors twisted trajectories, and electromagnetic pulses scrambled sensors. Alien ships collided, engines overloaded, and drones spun helplessly in orbits they could not control. human warships emerged from hidden positions, not in overwhelming numbers, but in precise patterns that exploited every weakness. Their hulls were adaptive, shields dynamic, weapons precise beyond prediction. Boarding drones, energy nets, and magnetic traps disabled command ships without a single human pilot exposed to danger. The alien fleet's confidence cracked within hours, their coordination unraveling as they attempted to respond to a foe they could neither see clearly nor predict. On Earth, operators watched in tense silence as alien vessels that had seemed unstoppable stalled, spiraled, and vanished. The system's orbital arrays pulsed like living nerves, relaying information, calculating outcomes, and executing maneuvers faster than any alien AI could process. Humanity did not strike with brute force, they struck with intelligence, with strategy, and with the certainty born of generations surviving worlds that would kill ordinary species within days. Somewhere in the void, alien scouts detected the humans' flagship, a vessel that should have been ordinary but moved like a predator, anticipating every maneuver and neutralizing threats before they were realized. Its engines pulsed with a quiet authority, its weapons arrays glimmering like constellations, precise enough to disable entire squadrons without a single destructive blast. The aliens could feel the shift, the narrative of superiority they had assumed was crumbling, replaced by confusion, fear, and disbelief. From orbit to the outer planets, humanity's traps and strategic positions unfolded seamlessly. The alien fleet had expected resistance, but not this level of coordination, not this depth of preparation. Entire squadrons were neutralized without firing, bridges overloaded, drones disabled, and the fleet forced into unplanned retreat patterns. The SOS of their own pride went unheard as they realized they had underestimated a species that thrived in adversity and mastered the impossible. Even in the midst of chaos, Earth's operators maintained calm. No unnecessary action, no panic, just calculated responses to each alien maneuver. Humanity had learned patience, precision, and persistence from survival on a planet that would not forgive mistakes. The alien fleet's arrogance had been its undoing, and every vanishing ship reinforced a single truth across the void: to challenge Earth's borders was to challenge the unimaginable, and humanity would not yield, as the solar system itself became a gauntlet of unseen defenses and calculated strikes. One thought spread silently across the alien armada: perhaps they had made a fatal error. The humans were no myth. They were alive, intelligent, and infinitely dangerous, and the borders they had ignored were more than territorial lines, they were an awakening. The alien armada faltered under the invisible pressure of Earth's defenses. Systems they relied upon to navigate, to communicate, to coordinate, began failing in patterns they could not interpret. Entire squadrons drifted helplessly, engines stalling, weapons locked in loops of malfunction. The humans had prepared for every predictable move, and the unpredictable ones were even deadlier. Every anomaly was anticipated, every variable accounted for, and every strike delivered with precision that felt almost prescient. From orbit, Earth's fleets emerged, not in overwhelming numbers, but with flawless timing. Warships accelerated from hidden positions behind asteroids and planetary shadows, weapons ready but only discharged when necessary. Drones, small and nearly invisible, infiltrated alien command vessels, disrupting operations, overriding AI protocols, and leaving entire fleets drifting as if possessed by invisible hands. The alien commanders, once supremely confident, felt their arrogance crumble with every pulse of disruption. On the surface of Earth, civilians and military personnel watched the displays in silent awe. Reports of vanished alien vessels flickered across screens, each disappearance reinforcing a collective realization: humanity was not powerless. Every strike, every countermeasure, every silent interception of an alien assault spoke of a species that had endured worlds designed to destroy them, refined its strategies through centuries of adversity, and was now extending that mastery to the protection of its home. The flagship moved through the chaos like a predator at the center of a storm. Its hull shimmered with adaptive energy, reflecting and refracting attacks, bending space around it as it executed maneuvers that seemed impossible. Energy nets, gravitational distortions, and carefully timed electromagnetic pulses disabled dozens of enemy ships simultaneously. leaving alien commanders scrambling to make sense of a battlefield they could not control. Even as destruction unfolded, humanity maintained restraint. Their actions were not born of hatred, nor of mindless aggression. They were surgical, precise, and purposeful. Every disabled vessel, every blocked assault, and every redirected attack carried a message across the void: underestimate humans at your peril. Every movement demonstrated intelligence, moral depth, and the kind of resolve that only a species forged by deathworlds could possess. The alien fleet attempted to regroup, deploying concentrated fire and synchronized maneuvers in desperation. Yet each attempt failed against humans who anticipated their every strategy. The battlefield itself became a trap: gravitational distortions, energy pulses, and environmental hazards orchestrated with near-perfect precision. Alien ships collided, misfired, and faltered, their coordination completely undone. Amidst the chaos, the SOS of human determination was unmistakable. The planet, once threatened with annihilation, now radiated hope. Every survivor on the surface, every operator in orbit, and every soldier in the hidden fleet felt it. Humanity had arrived, not as prey, not as victims, but as predators in the void, capable of bending the very laws of space and strategy to defend what was theirs. The alien commander's confidence had shattered. They were learning a truth that could not be measured by sensors, calculated by AI, or anticipated by arrogance. Humans did not fight like other species. Humans endured, adapted, and mastered the impossible, and they would not yield. The next phase of the battle was about to begin, and this time, the aliens would learn the full measure of humanity's defiance. The alien armada's attempts at coordination unraveled entirely. Fleets that had once been symbols of unstoppable power now drifted in disarray, their engines flickering, weapons offline, and command protocols collapsing under invisible pressure. Every move they made had been anticipated, every tactic countered, every advantage neutralized. Humanity had turned the void itself into a weapon. And the borders they had ignored became a labyrinth of death and precision. From orbit, the flagship of Earth's fleet moved with calm authority, its adaptive hull glowing faintly with blue energy, like veins of living light tracing the ship's structure. Energy pulses rippled across the void, disabling enemy targeting systems and overloading propulsion grids before a single human weapon fired. Drones swarmed unseen, infiltrating alien ships and shutting down systems with surgical efficiency. The aliens had assumed superiority, but humanity's preparation, intelligence, and resilience were rewriting the rules of engagement in real time. On the surface, survivors of the threatened worlds dared to look skyward. The faint pulse of human engines, the glimmer of tactical maneuvers, and the disappearance of alien vessels instilled a hope they had not felt in weeks. They did not understand all they witnessed, but instinctively, they knew, this species, long underestimated, had come to protect them. The quiet moments between bursts of chaos were filled with a resonance of assurance, a subtle hum that spoke of mastery, patience, and resolve. The alien commanders, desperate, attempted to form concentrated formations, attempting to use their remaining firepower in synchronized strikes. But every attempt faltered. Gravity wells from hidden orbital arrays pulled ships into unplanned trajectories. Energy nets jammed weapons. Mines detonated with precise timing, disabling engines and scattering squads. The humans did not simply react, they dictated the battlefield, turning alien aggression into controlled, predictable failures. Even amidst the chaos, humanity exercised restraint. Ships avoided unnecessary destruction, focusing instead on incapacitation and containment. Every maneuver sent a message: Earth's borders were not for conquest. To trespass without understanding their purpose was to court annihilation. Every vanishing ship, every disabled fleet, was a lesson in humility and respect for the species they had underestimated. The flagship advanced through the remnants of the alien armada, threading between burning wrecks and drifting vessels with calculated precision. Its presence radiated control, and the fleet mirrored its movements, striking with coordination that no alien algorithm could predict. The galaxy had never witnessed anything like this, a species defending itself with intelligence, moral clarity, and an unbreakable will that transformed survival into art. and as the aliens faltered and scattered, the survivors on the planets below sensed it. Hope had returned. Humanity had proven that its defiance was not mere rhetoric, its intelligence not theoretical, and its strength not brute force alone. The borders they had ignored were alive, defended by a species that had mastered endurance, strategy, and the moral imperative to protect the innocent. The next decisive strike was approaching. The galaxy would soon learn what it truly meant to underestimate humanity. The alien armada's retreat was chaotic, fractured, and desperate. Squadrons that had once projected unassailable dominance now drifted helplessly through the void, engines failing, weapons systems short-circuiting, and crews scrambling to comprehend the battlefield they could no longer control. The humans did not need overwhelming numbers, they needed precision, patience, and the calculated application of power honed over generations of surviving worlds that should have destroyed them. From hidden orbital positions, human warships advanced methodically. Adaptive hulls shimmered with blue energy veins, reflecting light in patterns that disrupted enemy targeting. Drones infiltrated command ships, shutting down critical systems without a trace. Mines, electromagnetic pulses, and gravitational distortions combined to transform the void into a gauntlet the aliens could not navigate. Every move was designed to neutralize without unnecessary destruction, to enforce the lesson that Earth's borders were not to be crossed uninvited. On the SOS planets and orbital stations, humans watched in tense awe. Blips on screens disappeared one by one, reports of alien vessels vanishing or drifting uncontrollably poured in. Children, soldiers, and civilians alike felt the quiet hum of reassurance as humanity, a species once dismissed, revealed the full measure of its cunning, resilience, and moral resolve. Every precise strike, every controlled maneuver, whispered a single truth: humans survive not by chance, but by mastery of the impossible. The flagship moved like a predator through the remnants of the alien armada. Energy pulses rippled across the void, engines flared with calculated brilliance, and the ship executed maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Alien formations fractured under invisible pressure. Commands failed, weapon systems overloaded, and navigation collapsed. The humans were not merely fighting, they were orchestrating, directing, and teaching the enemy the cost of arrogance. Even as chaos consumed the aliens, humanity maintained discipline. Every decision was intentional. Every strike was deliberate. No human life was wasted. This was not conquest. This was protection, precision, and the enforcement of a simple principle: to violate Earth's borders is to face the impossible. The aliens' arrogance had blinded them, and the consequences unfolded across the solar system like a silent storm. The alien commanders tried one final synchronized assault, unleashing massive energy arrays and kinetic barrages. The Deathworlders' fleet anticipated every vector, every timing, and every tactic. Shields bent, energy fields absorbed, and propulsion grids redirected attacks back into the void. Entire squadrons faltered, spinning helplessly, while the humans advanced with calculated inevitability. The galaxy, watching in distant systems, would soon understand that this species, Earth's humans, did not bow, did not flee, and did not negotiate with those who preyed on the weak. They endured, they adapted, and they acted with intelligence and moral clarity that no alien force had ever encountered. The decisive blow that would shatter the alien fleet completely was seconds away, and with it, humanity would send a single, unmistakable message: the borders of Earth are inviolate, and no arrogance will go unpunished. The alien fleet's remnants scattered like shadows fleeing a rising sun. Massive cruisers, command vessels, and drone swarms drifted aimlessly, engines sputtering, shields flickering, and crews paralyzed by the invisible precision of the human assault. The flagship moved through the void with calm authority, its adaptive hull glowing with blue constellations, energy pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat of inevitability. The humans had turned every prediction against the enemy, rewriting the rules of engagement with intelligence, coordination, and an unyielding will. On the SOS planets and orbital stations, survivors emerged cautiously, gazing at the spectacle unfolding above them. The alien invaders, feared and unstoppable just hours before, now faltered and fled. Humanity had acted not out of vengeance but with purpose, to protect, to enforce, and to remind the galaxy that no species could underestimate Earth. The hum of engines, subtle yet pervasive, resonated across planetary surfaces, a reassurance that the impossible had arrived to defend the innocent. The alien commanders attempted one last desperate maneuver, concentrating their remaining firepower into synchronized volleys. Massive energy beams flared, kinetic projectiles surged, and command signals attempted to reorganize the fleet. But every vector had been anticipated. Gravitational distortions redirected weapons into the void, energy nets dismantled firing arrays, and drones neutralized critical systems. The alien armada collapsed under the precision of humans who had mastered survival against worlds that would have annihilated ordinary species. The flagship moved to the center of the shattered armada, threads of blue energy tracing across its hull as disabled ships spun helplessly around it. Its presence radiated authority, and the fleet mirrored every maneuver, acting with flawless coordination and lethality. The galaxy had never witnessed a species defend itself with such intelligence, patience, and moral clarity. Humanity was alive, and the borders they had defended would never be crossed again. From orbit to planetary surfaces, the survivors sensed it, the subtle pulse of human mastery. The quiet assurance that they were protected. Fires still burned, but hope burned brighter. Children laughed cautiously, soldiers straightened, and entire cities exhaled in relief. Humanity had arrived, not as prey, not as victims, but as the ultimate arbiters of survival and defiance. The alien fleet vanished into the void, its arrogance destroyed, its calculations undone, and its superiority a myth. The humans had not revealed their full strength, they had shown only enough to enforce a lesson across the stars. The galaxy had learned what it meant to underestimate Earth. To violate its borders was to confront the impossible.